Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
On Education series. It is a unique talk show by Idym group of companies that invites people from different professions and different countries to share their experiences, learning, and success stories. Beyond education, inspiring stories to inspire the world is a unique talk show that invites people from different professions in different countries to share their experiences. It is a platform to learn and get inspiration from the people who have converted challenges into opportunities to make a successful career. These are the people who have strived hard to lead a better life and provide equal opportunities for others to do so. I'm glad to welcome one such personality, Gayatri Vamsi ma'am, who has helped thousands of people to acquire holistic education by using her exemplary teaching methodology. I welcome you, ma'am, for this show. Before presenting to you the guest speaker, I take this opportunity to introduce her. Gayatri Vamsi, ma'am, she is an MBA graduate, founder and CEO of Buzzing Bees. She has carved a niche in this venture by bringing together her passion for teaching, working with children, and leading a healthy lifestyle. She is the recipient of the US Presidential Award, recognizing her exemplary contribution in the field of education as a volunteer. Gayatri is also a teacher, trainer, parent coach, emotional intelligence trainer, memory trainer, and a fitness enthusiast. Upon her return to India, she co-founded Acharyas for Better Community and Minipreneurs. Keen to see more and more kids benefit from her teaching methodology, Gayatri founded Buzzing Bees in the year 2018 with the vision of providing holistic education to kids in a creative and fun environment. Within a short span, Buzzing Bees grew in size and popularity. Challenging the traditional way of learning, Gayatri found every opportunity to work with head of schools and parents to introduce new ways of learning and deliver value to kids through creative learning experiences. She also actively contributed for the betterment of schools that serve underprivileged and differently abled kids. She has an innate passion for teaching and has designed new and effective methods to make learning a fun time. She has altered the old school method of note learning by using creative worksheets and fun activities. So I once again welcome you, ma'am, and let's start with the interaction. So, ma'am, I was reading your profile. You're the co-founder of Acharya for Better Community. So, what are the work and the activities that are done by this NGO?
Thank you, Anjum Qureshi, ma'am, for a very warm welcome, and IDYM for giving me this opportunity to share my journey of being an educator in various areas. So thank you so much. I'm excited and looking forward to share my experiences with you, Dr. Anjum, and the viewers here. And so Dr. Anjum Acharyas for Better Community was co-founded by with a couple of other volunteers to bring or to bridge the gap in the government schools of Karnataka. So we started volunteering in a few government schools in Whitefield to ensure that the children are getting equal opportunities like other kids who were going to private school. That was our humble effort before COVID. So we started off with few schools in Whitefield, but expanded to all over Bangalore and few places in few other places in Karnataka. And one of our volunteers started the same kind of services under Acharyas in Gurgaon and few other states as well. So we took up spoken English classes in few schools. We did a few infrastructural help in few schools. So we set up library in a couple of schools. We hired CSR from few corporates, and we set up library, and we also set up the computer lab in one of the schools. So we did a different kind of work in each school depending on the requirement of that particular school. We used to conduct sports activities. We used to conduct art and craft competitions in the government schools. So in few government schools, we helped the headmasters train the teachers in certain areas where they wanted help. So, but unfortunately, during COVID, we were not able to do much because most of the kids were online, and few of our volunteers also moved out of Bangalore. So, but whatever we did gives good amount of the little we did is satisfying journey through acharyas.
That's wonderful, ma'am, and the kind of work that you have been doing. And especially like you told about you use the CSR funds. So that is a very important thing, like many of the organizations that are working, they don't know about this. They keep on searching for funds. So this is actually a very great source to go for such activities, and the way you're doing, setting up computer labs, libraries. So that's a wonderful job. And another venture that I was reading, minipreneurs. It actually looks very interesting. What is it actually?
So Minipreneurs was we started. Me and my husband started it together when we were in the US. So my son, when he was 8 years old, we used to live back in the US, and I was homeschooling my son, and that's how my journey of being an educator started with my own kids. So he was part of Destination Imagination, a program where children are encouraged to try STEM activities through various workshops and discussions. And we saw each and every child was trying new things. They were not worried or scared of failures, or they were able to think out of the box. And some kids were able to think as if there was no box, right? So that's when we thought, but we don't see that in adults. So we thought, what was the reason why adults are not so creative as well as all of us would have been creative when we were children? We were curious, we were creative, we were inquisitive, right? So we thought, why is that shift happening when we become adults? So we thought, to ignite that spark of curiosity and keep going and trying to solve day-to-day problems around us. So we thought it's good to introduce entrepreneurship and innovation through design thinking for children, and that's how Minipreneurs was born. So they are all children, but learning to think like entrepreneurs. That's why it's called as Minipreneurs. I'm very, very proud to say that Minipreneurs was recognized at Wharton University in the US as one of the good life skills program. And we implemented it in few schools in Bangalore as part of their life skills program, and amazing results that the children could bring in, the thought process, the creativity, and the ideas that children used to generate used to amaze me. And I think everybody has an addiction, and I have an addiction to spend more time with children. When I became a teacher or an educator, I thought I was teaching, which was completely wrong. I realized that I was learning from the kids.
We actually learn. We are not, we say we are teachers, we are teaching, but we actually learn from all this process. And your concept of entrepreneurs, turning the children into entrepreneurs, that is really a unique one. And as we are having this series beyond education, so where this is all your activities, I must say, we are somewhere beyond education, beyond the conventional teaching methods. And one more, like I was reading about Telugu, it was yes, Telugu Badi and Telugu Bharati, where you used, I think you were teaching something, shlokas and some conducting other classes in Telugu language, I think.
Yes.
So what was that, ma'am?
So I am from Andhra, where our mother tongue is Telugu. When I moved abroad, I had an opportunity to teach Telugu to kids who are living in Seattle in the US. So that was my first journey as an educator, where I designed the curriculum for children. And that was my first curriculum that I designed, which is still very, very close to my heart. So I thought, like, see, every child should be introduced to their mother tongue, right? So any language that you learn will definitely make you much more smarter. Your brain, the neural paths in the brain develop, and you become smart. And learning mother tongue is even more interesting for children, and they should be learning mother tongue. So we thought, like, why how about we make this journey an experiential one and a fun learning one, because we were teaching the Indian languages, Telugu, for example, Telugu, over the weekend. So they have a busy schedule during the week, and when they come for this classes, we didn't want them to feel that this is at another class. So we thought, how could we make it more fun, and how could we bring our children, though they are living in another country, but still close to their roots. So everybody should know where they come from and what their roots are, right? So that was our humble effort through Telugu Badi and Telugu Bharati. And now it has grown really big. It's been almost, like, 10 years since Telugu Badi was formed. And I was one of the founding members there, and where I had an opportunity to create the curriculum, create stories for them. And we had Diwali, and we had Halloween come during the same week. So I still remember we celebrated both together. So we all wore ethnic wear and celebrated Halloween together. So it was fun, like, combining the two cultures, or two different areas of life. Like, one country was teaching us something where we lived, the United States taught us something, but where we were born and brought up, India taught us many things. So we wanted to inculcate that into our children. And that was more about Telugu Badi. So kids were taught how to write and read Telugu, and also taught about the state history and geography, and some folk songs from Andhra. And they were also taught how to converse in Telugu. So that was my first journey as an educator, along with homeschooling my children.
That was wonderful, ma'am. And so wherever we go in any part of the world, our mother tongue, our culture, that is somewhere we have to pass it on to the next generation. That is very important, and you have been doing a wonderful job.
Thank you
And
so much.
coming to your latest venture, Buzzing Bees. Now, how did you get this concept in mind after coming to India, set up Buzzing Bees?
So, Buzzing Bees, why I named it Buzzing Bees is very interesting, because I am always asked by the little creature bees. Without bees, there's no world that exists, right? So they're very, very small creatures, but they have a huge impact on the world. So if there are no bees, no pollination, no pollination, no food, no world. So I thought even children are the same, right? So without them, the world is not beautiful. Without their contributions to the world is not going to exist. So I thought, like, children are always like bees, and I wanted to inculcate life skills, or any skill that is very essential for children to lead their life happily. So I'll have to share a story here. Like, when I was growing up, I did not have anything beyond education. Everything was what was in the textbook, what was my exams, and I did fairly well. I was a high academic achiever, but later in life I realized, along with education, you definitely need to have certain other skills that makes you a better person. So I wanted to inculcate those skills into children. And the challenges that I faced, especially when I went abroad, I faced a few challenges. So I thought that should not be faced by the children. So that's why it's called as Buzzing Bees. And I wanted to teach teamwork, accountability and responsibility. And you always pick up something and you will end up finishing it. So that is your accountability and responsibility, your immense memory, and working together and enjoying the work you are doing and you're passionate about the work. So this is what we learn from the bees. Like human beings can learn from the bees. And also, if you see, bees always have each other's back, though they have different roles to play in collecting the honey, nectar to the end process. They always, all the bees, like, the king bee, queen bee, the worker bee, everybody has a different role, but they have each other's back. So that's the environment or the culture I wanted to bring in children. And hence, and the kids are always buzzing, they are not very quiet, and hence the word buzzing bees. And I wanted to create that leadership mindset in children. So when I say leadership mindset, so we have heard about growth mindset, we've heard about fixed mindset, but I wanted to create that leadership mindset. And leadership mindset is very important for everybody. So whatever you're doing, you can be a homemaker, you can be a CEO. All of us need that leadership mindset. And kids are very easy to groom. So it's very easy to groom a child when they are very young, and supposed to when they to adults, right? So it's very difficult to groom adults. So I thought, like, why not work with children and create that leadership mindset? So when I was looking at it, the very first thing that we wanted to inculcate into children is reading habit. So because readers are leaders, right? So that's how the whole program started, which bloomed very organically. So I wouldn't say, like, this was in my mind when I started Buzzing Bees. So we started off with phonics classes because phonics is the most effective way to teach how to read to children. So I started off with phonics classes and then eventually added few more workshops. So that's how the whole journey started in 2018. But to be very honest and frank, I didn't know how the path ahead was, but I wanted to do something in this area. So we started off with 3 children, and I'm very, very happy and proud to say that we have touched based upon 3,500 families in this past 4 to 5 years.
That's wonderful, ma'am. Great. From 3 children to 3,500. That's really a great journey, in fact, in 4 years. And you're talking about leadership mindset. So that is necessary because people actually, they don't know what is leadership. They just think that if you are in a very important position, some in charge or principal or boss, that means you should
You're a
be
leader.
having, you are a leader, you need leadership qualities. But actually, this is required by everyone. And what are the activities that you implement through this buzzing bee?
So we started off with phonics program where we teach young children to identify, excuse me, learn the alphabet sounds and use those alphabet sounds to become independent readers. Then we have a reading club where we teach children. So now most of the children who come to me have learned to read, become independent readers. So then we move them to reading club where we teach them to how to understand what they are reading. See, all of us can read. We can, read the books. How much essence we understand or take it and put it into perspective in our own lives is what makes your effective reader, right? So reading club ensures our children are understanding what they are reading and able to critically analyze about the content they're reading through our visualization and verbalization techniques. And through books, we try to build a personality in the child. We work on public speaking activities through books. So suppose, like, all of us read the same book and exchange our thoughts on what we understood from the book or what was the best part of that particular story. And sometimes we just read till 90% of the story, and each of us give our own ending to the story. So that's amazing when you see 10 children giving a different ending to the story, the same story that each one of us have read. So based on their life experiences, based on their understanding and exposure, based on their thinking and creativity, each one of us come up with a different ending to the story. So that's our phonics and reading club. We have Mystic Mythology program, where it is taking our children to Hindu culture and way of living. So it is a multi-level shloka program where we teach children the shlokas and also the meaning and essence to today's life, because our this generation children are very logical. So if you tell them God is there, they might not believe me. So we tell them, like, it's a power, or it's a energy that binds us together, or that makes us work together. And suppose when we teach them, so we have a shloka where we recite saying sorry to Mother Earth in the morning. So when I tell them, like, say sorry to Mother Earth, they don't believe in me. So we bring in the go green concept. Now everybody is going towards a better lifestyle. We are respecting Mother Earth by not polluting and recycling and reducing the carbon footprint and all that. So I try to bridge today's aspect, today's relevance to what our ancestors have taught us. So whatever our ancestors have taught, it was not just a random thing. There is science behind everything that is being taught to us culturally on the name of religion. I think every religion is saying the same thing in a different way, right? So that is all about our Mystic Mythology. And then we have life skills program, where we teach children all the life skills, like, critical thinking, creative thinking, emotional intelligence, stress management, which is very essential for children. All the 10 life skills that WHO has listed down. We have a year-long program for life skills. And then during COVID, we all realized cooking was not anymore a luxury, it is a life skill, right? So everybody wanted to had to cook by themselves. We didn't have the luxury of our cooks coming and helping us out. So that's when I launched a program called Kiddies Kitchen, which was beyond recipes. So children were taught a lot more about the culinary world through stories and interactive sessions, and also taught how to cook. So that was our Kiddies Kitchen. And during this journey, Dr. Qureshi, I understood that if we want to bring any change in the next generation, we have to work with teachers and parents. So if we can work and change the mindset of the teachers and parents to as much as possible, then it will be easy to mold children. And that's when we started parenting workshops and teacher trainings under Buzzing Bees. And we have and I also strongly believe that if we want to bring change in the child for any specific behavioral issues or academic challenges or tantrums or any challenges, sibling rivalry, the screen time issues, or the child not respecting the parents, or anything for that matter, I feel if we can change the attitude of the parents, the behavior of the parents, or the approach of the parents, we can bring the change in the child very easily. And that's how Abhaya Hasta, which is our one-on-one parent coaching program, started.
It's really good to know, ma'am. So many kind of activities and how you are inducing life skills in the young minds. And you're working not only with the children, but you're working with the teachers as well as the parents. And your venture, it has been listed among the top 100 startups that is actually having a positive effect in Karnataka. So, as an entrepreneur, what were your experiences?
So, Dr. Qureshi, for me, I didn't know that I was becoming an entrepreneur, but I always knew I wanted to do something with children and something for myself also. It was very selfish motive when I started Buzzing Bees phonics classes, because I wanted to do something for myself, right? And eventually that phonics classes turned out to be a huge hit in the neighborhood. And that's so we added few more workshops, and I kept adding new workshops as and when there was a requirement, or the thought, like emotional intelligence was workshop was added during the pandemic, when we all realized, like, there was a lot of this stress that was going on. We didn't know how to handle the new normal. So children being at home, because something we never expected that kids will attend school from home and all that. So we thought that was the right time and much needed topic to introduce emotional intelligence to children. Right. So that's how my journey started as a phonics teacher. And then later, I started teacher training. I started giving parenting workshops at different schools and my own workshops. So then that turned out to be a edupreneur. And then eventually, very recently, I started my edtech company. So the whole journey, I initially thought I thought like, first it was self satisfaction, then it was creating an identity for myself, then I thought it was financial independence, or it could be like, spreading the joy of teaching. But end of the day, I am realizing that it is more self love, keeping myself happy. And I think I have strongly started believing that if you can fill in your own cup, that's when you are actively filling others cup. You can never pour from an empty cup. So the whole journey of entrepreneurship, I'm realizing that it is self love. I'm learning, I'm unlearning, I'm seeing the failures, I'm learning through my failures.
Yeah, we learn through our failures. Actually, if we don't face failures, we cannot learn and we cannot even succeed in life.
Yeah,
That's
I think in entrepreneurship, there is no failure. I think it is only learning. You learn, you fall down, again, you get up, you learn and move ahead.
yeah, we have to, that's down, we have to go ahead with all stuff we have to do. And yes, there are many edutech companies that have actually come and up in India. So what do you, according to you, is the unique thing about Buzzing Bees?
So at Buzzing Bees, as I mentioned, it grew very organically. So for us, we are a child-centric company. So anything and everything starts from the child who comes to us. So, and I very strongly from the beginning, I have told all the parents as well, I will not start my lesson on day one. I will build that emotional bond with the child. When the teacher likes the student and the student knows that you are liked by the teacher and that emotional bonding is done, they are environmentally comfortable with me and the environment. And once that is established, learning happens magically and automatically. That is what I strongly feel, that we are different from others and we have a very, very unique approach to education. So everything that we do is done through stories, songs, and hands-on activities. Nothing is going to be like, child is sitting and just listening to me like this. No, if anybody walks in who doesn't know the way my classes run, they might think we're just having a party or we're just having some fun time. So one child will be sitting like this. As long as the child is learning, I don't really mind how the child sits. So it's all child centric. So suppose I have a plan, today I will cover diagrams and children want to listen to a story. I don't mind telling them a story. So when I get into their path and say it's okay, we will spend 10 minutes hearing a story, or we'll talk about how our day was. And today, Bangalore traffic, especially the area that we live in, had a different experience this morning. Like, school buses came very late to pick up. So children were very, very curious to share their stories, because usually most of the children who come to me reach school at 8:30, but today they all reached at 10, some reached at 9:30. So they had their snack in the bus, which was a different and new experience for them. And they were all curious to come and share. So our today's class, I think around 10 to 15 minutes, we just discussed about it. And they feel happy because I'm listening to them and I'm listening to their silly stories and their experiences. So it's everything is, around the child.
Yeah, everything around the child, being child centric. And you're actually, like, I'm just listening to you and all your different activities. And I must say, every teacher must listen to you and how the different activities you are carrying out. And it was very helpful for us educators. Like, even in class, because I teach in a college, and sometimes we do this and we just find the students, especially in the second half after 2 p.m. and all, they're not in a mood to study. So we have to give some 10 minutes, 15 minutes, they just get relaxed talking, and then we can go with the syllabus because there is no point in teaching when they are
Right.
not in the mood to listen to you. That's wonderful, ma'am. And you have been doing so many things. But anything that you do, any work you do, it is not without any challenge. So, what are the challenges that you have faced?
So when I started phonics as an approach was very new. So it took a while for me to convince parents why phonics was important, or to the fact that, like, why reading is important. They would say, anyway, kids are going to school, they're stressed. So after coming home also, why should they read? And it took a while for me to make them understand the importance of reading. And once they were on board with reading, we conducted a few awareness sessions, made them understand how phonics is effective. So once that trust was built, it was easy, but to build that trust took a time. And then later, brand building was another challenge. So because who are you? Suddenly you're coming and saying that I'm taking classes. So what is in it for the other person to trust you? And as such, like, I don't have any professional degrees, or during that time, 2018, I didn't have any professional degree in education, or I was not I didn't work as a teacher in any other school or something to claim that I have work experience. So that was another challenge. And slowly, when I entered teacher training at schools, it was a little bit of challenge to convince the school heads why they should be training teachers in life skills. So now they understand because of the experience and the exposure, right? So now they understand. Now I think we will face new challenges as an edtech company. So I'm all welcoming in the challenges to learn.
Yeah, challenges should be changed into opportunities. And you are into teacher trainings, you are communicating with the teachers. And nowadays, we are not talking just about education, but we are talking about holistic education,
Right.
especially after the NEP. When NEP,
Yeah.
it's holistic education is an important aspect of, holistic is an important aspect of NEP also. So now the teachers should change something. They should be acquiring some new skills. So what are those skills that should be acquired by the educators so that they are able to impart holistic education to the students?
So, see, I think the first thing that we as educators should be ready to do is unlearn. So, what we learned during our teacher training or during our initial years of teaching experience, that has to be unlearned, because that is very, very important, because NEP is going to bring new aspects of education, right? So, if we don't unlearn, if you're not ready to unlearn and then learn the new aspects and teach, we might not be successful. And I think teachers have to be passionate towards teaching. So I think if you're passionate towards teaching, passionate towards bringing that change, passionate towards bringing that impact on each student's life individually, then the other skills automatically comes in. So that was my experience. Like, I was not a trained teacher, or I was not a trained psychologist or anything, but over the years, I learned myself, and then I did my certifications, and now I'm a certified parent coach and a certified emotional intelligence practitioner. But when I started, I didn't have any of these certifications. But all I could say was I was very passionate. I wanted to bring the change in kids who come to me, and through that change, I wanted to bring that change in myself. So what teaching has taught me is to look inward, where I need to change, how I can bring the difference in the child's life. If one particular child is not understanding the way I'm teaching, how will I change my approach to teach the child in a different way? So more of it, as I said in the beginning, I actually thought that I was teaching, but I am so wrong about that impression. Like teachers teach, I think teachers learn. That's what my experience has been. I have been learning, I've been changing every single moment, and I've been learning to be a better parent. I'm learning to be a better teacher. I'm learning to be a better human beings by seeing all those kids.
Wonderful, ma'am. And you were talking about parenthood. And so here in the last few years, this is a new term which is again coming up, parenting post. Because I feel that the parenting is becoming challenging nowadays, and especially after the pandemic, the role of the parents somewhere they are saying. So, what, according to you, are some of the challenges that the parents are facing today in bringing up their children?
See, Dr. Qureshi, one thing, parenting is definitely becoming challenging for many reasons, right? So, this generation children are more towards instant gratification, and which is not their mistake or fault, right? The world has become like that. Everything happens in a touch of a second. So, whereas, so suppose, for us to make a phone call, so 80s kids, so we had to wait. So it was a trunk call. We would book a trunk call. We would wait for our turn to talk to somebody. So that taught us waiting, patience, responsibility, accountability, and a lot of other things. So whereas today's generation, they just take a phone and they, at a click of a second, everything is available in their hands, right from Swiggy, Zomato, which made the food delivered very easily. So we cannot expect them to have that patience by default. So we have to teach them to do certain things. So, and the parenting challenges, one is instant gratification. The world has changed, so our thinking also has to change. So we cannot expect them to be like how we were when we were young. So that expectation has to change, and parents also have to equip themselves on how to handle children better, because these days children question, these days children are curious, these days children actually have a lot of self-thought and self-thinking. And biggest challenges is time constraints. Both the parents are working and we don't have time to spend with our children. So if we can work on creating an environment at home where we spend quality time with each other without any distractions, without your WhatsApp, without your Facebook, without any social media, or without any meeting reminders or schedules, then we will be able to build that emotional connect with our children. And I think once that emotional connect with our within the families happen, most of the challenges that we face as today's parents can be sorted. And one biggest challenge, and I run a WhatsApp group on parenting, which is called as Buzzing Bees Parenting Group. And yesterday I just asked, so because WhatsApp has launched a new feature, right? Poll. So I wanted to give it a try, and I wanted to see how many parents feel parenting is challenging. So I was shocked and surprised, and which was known factor also. Like, more than 52 parents among 200 of 200 group of parents, 52 felt it was challenging, and about 40 of them felt sometimes it is challenging. Only one person said it is not challenging. So yes, it is very evident that parenting has become challenging for various reasons. Like, another thing is social media effect on children, gadgets, the usage of gadgets on children. Like, when they are using those gadgets, when they are continuously hooked on to those cartoon shows, their brain is stimulated, the brain is forced to process in that fast-paced way that the cartoons are performing or talking. It's all bright, it's all fast. But when it comes to reality, I don't talk like that to make it children, right? So they expect the teachers or even parents to have that fast pace, and there is some gap because of that. And kids are always hooked on to their screens. Even when you go to a restaurant, you find families with, this is how they eat. Right. So with all these things, as parents, we should put in our effort to spend that quality time with our children, know how their day was, and interact as much as possible with our children to bridge that gap and then take parenting forward.
Have to actually build an emotional connect. That is more important. They're just really lacking. And the parents are busy. Even you're talking about both the parents are working. So even if like one of them is home, especially if the mother is home at home, still she has so many to see on her mobile, to check the WhatsApp, to check Instagram, and see all the daily TV serials. She has lot to do. And they don't pay attention to the children. They don't talk with the children. Actually, talking has become more important nowadays. And one more term that is again becoming important is emotional intelligence. And the people, even the companies are nowadays recruiting people depending after judging their emotional quotient. So, because you are also an emotional intelligence coach, so what according to you are some of the tips that can be used to develop our emotional intelligence?
Earlier it was IQ that was playing a major role, and unfortunately, improving IQ is not in our hands. So, but whereas emotional quotient (EQ), which is the most used term these days, it is in our hands. We can definitely work towards improving our emotional quotient. So by observing how we are reacting every day, so what are the so you have to be mindful. So means that, what is mindfulness? You have to be aware of what is happening in the present. So the very few activities that you could do to improve your emotional quotients, first is understand your own self. Self awareness is very, very important. So what is self awareness? Understand who you are, what are your triggers. So what makes you angry, what makes you happy, how would you react in a particular situation. So observing yourself, how you are reacting, what emotions you are going through a day, and being aware of your own emotions, and also understand the right emotion that you're going through. So many of us, sometimes we are actually hungry but we show anger. So we don't know how to identify our own emotions and label them rightly. So if we can work on understanding the number of emotions that are prevalent, be aware with the emotions and their meaning, and identify yourself, relate to that emotion, and be aware of your emotions. And we always think that emotions is mentally, or what happens inside, right? But it has a direct connect with your physical feelings. So if you're stressed, there is a tingling thing that is happening throughout your body. So understand and connect the physical feeling and the emotional feeling to each other. So when you are able to connect, you understand, okay, I'm actually stressed, so my tummy is aching. So that is actually could be one of the factor to show anxiety, you're feeling anxious. So you understand your physical and mental bridge, and be aware of it, and also see how you're reacting to each and every situation. Suppose when I'm talking to somebody, if somebody is using a phone, so I might feel upset because so I might feel they're disrespectful to me. So being aware, so I know how to control my emotion. If somebody is using their phone, I can be non-judgmental about it, and I can empathize with them, thinking that maybe they are in a need. So give them a few minutes to use their phone, and then talk, a pause, and then talk, and understand where you're reacting versus where you're responding will actually increase your emotional quotient. And when you understand your own self, you're able to understand your own emotions correctly, and give the label to that emotions correctly. You will be able to empathize with the other person. Empathy again is very big part of emotional intelligence, right? So what is empathy? We always think, okay, being sorry for the other person is empathy. No, empathy is a lot more to do than being sorry. So empathy is more like, you feel how the other person is feeling, not with your perspective, from the other person's perspective, right? So sometimes when I talk about empathy, empathy is not about, like, if somebody comes and tells me they have a problem, I tell them, oh, I had a bigger problem than yours. So that is not empathy. Or we give them, it's okay, this is not even a problem. That's not empathy, right? Or you tell them, oh, you're this generation, you're saying that this itself is a problem, but when I was younger, when I was, so suppose if you're empathizing with your child, you say that the child comes and tells you, like, we have 4 chapters for exam. So you empathize. When you are empathizing with the child, you don't tell, hey, this is just 4 chapters. When I was young, we used to get 10 chapters, right? So this is all not empathy. Empathy is listening to the child or listening to the other person without your own prejudices, without your own judgment, and understand what that child is going through without giving any solution to it. Listen and empathize with the other person, and work on your stress management. Identify what causes stress to you. So when you are able to work on your self-awareness, you're able to understand the other person, you're able to identify your stress, and see, all of us are stressed, Dr. Anjum. Everybody has 24 hours, right? How we calm down, how we control our nervous system is in our hands, and we don't have to do big things to become emotionally quotient. It's all the small changes that we bring in our everyday's life, like, self-love, emotional bonding with the family. Identify your stress and learn to manage your own stress. Empathize, being non-judgmental, listen without any judgment, work on self-awareness. All these put together, your emotional quotient will definitely go up. And again, any change cannot happen overnight. You have to give persistent and consistent efforts towards it.
We have to. And so somewhere I feel that emotional intelligence again plays a big role in maintaining our relationships also. Because, like, if I'm angry over an issue and if I control the emotions, I postpone my action, this is where it can help in maintaining relationships. Otherwise, if you just react immediately, so many things can go worse at a time.
Right.
And yes, it was really pleasure listening to all your journey, man. And you must be certainly having some people who have inspired you, some then as your role models. So who were your role models? Who inspired you? Who were those persons?
So, for in the field of parent coaching, I'm really inspired, and my role model is Dr. Shefali. I really love the way she brings consciousness into parenting. She calls her parenting as conscious parenting, and she has been my biggest role model. And what I have learned over the years is you can pick good from everybody around you. So anytime I observe something nice from somebody, I ensure that I would also try to incorporate that in myself and appreciate. So one thing I've learned in this journey is appreciate other person's abilities and good qualities that you want to inculcate in yourself. When you appreciate, you put in that effort to notice it. So when you are noticing and appreciating, that somehow goes into your subconscious mind, and you start thinking about how can I also inculcate those into me. And so that has been one thing. And the third is i I want to be truthful to my consciousness, and that's what is keeping me going.
Yeah, man. Certainly, like, appreciation and acknowledgement can do one. So that is what it is, I believe. And what are your future goals?
I have grown very organically, Dr. Anjum. So I don't have any goals as such, but I want to do better every single day. Keep up, keep going. Don't miss any opportunities that come my way, and keep upskilling yourself, keep loving yourself, and do better than what you were yesterday.
That's wonderful, ma'am. Actually, we should not be having a competition with others. We should be competing with ourselves. We
Exactly.
should just try to be a better version of ourselves.
Yeah.
Just try to do better each day and make each day better. And you have been changing so many lives, affecting so many families at a time. That's really wonderful. Ma'am, you had to say something?
No, ma'am. See, what I have understood is there is enough sun for everybody. So we don't have to compete with each other. Instead, learn from each other, collaborate, and grow together. I think that's what IDYM has taught me. Like, grow together.
Growing together. That is more important. And as Sindel, when I was just listening to you, Sindel, even I believe now it's not hard work. Now it's an age where you should be doing smart.
Correct.
That's actually more important.
Very
And
true.
ma'am, the message that you would like to give to the people listening to us now.
See, the message that I would like to give is spend time for yourself. I know everybody is busy. We all have families to take care. We all have workplaces, our careers to take care. If you're studying, you have your education to be taken care. But spend like 5 to 10 minutes or max 15 minutes on yourself and upskill yourself or learn new things or just de-stress yourself during that time. And remember, fill in your cups because nobody's going to come and fill in your cup. And only when you fill your cup, you will be able to pour for the families. And an empowered mother, happy mother, is what the world requires, not a perfect mother. Right? So everybody cannot be perfect. We are not perfect. We are learning to become better every single day. And our families don't need a perfect wife or a perfect mother. They need a happy mother. So ensure you're staying happy, you're staying filling your cups through self-love and all the other things that you would like to do for yourself, and your children also see you and learn from you. Be a role model and do what you want them to do, so you don't have to tell them to do. They see you and learn. So happy parenting, happy emotional bonding with your families, that will solve a lot of challenges that we face as parents.
Yeah, that was wonderful, ma'am. I really like the sentence, empowered mother, happy mother, rather than being a perfect. That's wonderful, ma'am. And with this, we come to the end of the session. And it was really a nice interacting you, nice talking to you, and knowing about all the different activities you have been conducting and how you're bringing a change in the society. That was wonderful, ma'am. Thank you once again for joining the show and sharing all your valuable knowledge with us, your valuable experiences with us. Thank you very much, ma'am. The
Thank
IDYM team, and special thanks to Ravi Shankar sir for this opportunity to interact with so many different people from different parts of the world. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, ma'am. Good night,
Thank
ma'am.
you so much, Dr. Anjum Qureshi. I didn't feel like I was talking to you for the first time. You made me feel very, very comfortable. Thank you, IDYM, for this amazing opportunity again. And thank you, Ravi sir, for doing all the things that you're doing through IDYM, bringing all the educators and people like me to share their stories with everybody. And thank you so much for all the opportunities. Thank you.